Welcome back to our next class. I hope you enjoy it. And remember, as always, if you have any issues with any of the exercises, just be careful. Don't do anything that you're not happy doing. If you feel sore in any of the exercises, just stop it and do an alternative exercise. And if you want to contact any of us afterwards, feel free to give us a call after the class. Bye. So we're going to get started with a little bit of breathing. So if everyone can just sit up nice and tall, you're going to sit up really, really tall, bring your shoulder blades up and back and down into line, and your head and neck in line. So from the side view, you're going to have your shoulders back and down and your head and neck in line. You're going to take a breath in through your nose, and as you breathe out, you're going to pull up inside for your pelvic floor and tighten your core across the front. And you're going to take a really deep breath in through your nose, and then you're going to gently blow out through pursed lips. So it's a breath in and a breath out. I want you to put your hands onto your ribcage and feel the air coming in. And a breath out. And take the breath into the bottom of your ribs. And breath out. Really trying to expand the bottom of your ribs here. And breath out. Hold the core all the time. Okay. From there, we're going to move down onto the mat and do some warm-up exercises. So you're going to rest down onto your back. And you're going to have your feet and your knees lined up with your hips. Your shoulder blades relaxed back and back of your head down onto the mat. So you're going to rock your pelvis into a neutral position to begin with. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Breathe in to hold that there, and then breathe out. Let your ribs and pelvis down into your imprint position, and then breathe in, come back to neutral. Keep the core held. Breathe out, ribs and pelvis down into the imprint, and breathe in, back to neutral. Hold that core in the front. Breathing out, ribs and pelvis down into the imprint, and breathe in, back to neutral. One more, breath in, and breath out. Ribs and pelvis down into the imprint to loosen the low back. And then breathe in, back to neutral. Making sure that the chin doesn't poke as you do it. So from there, we're going to do our hip rolls. So breathe in to prepare, and then breathe out, bring yourself down through your imprint, tuck your tailbone in, clench your glutes muscle, and roll up just to the lower ribs. Breathe in to stay there, and then breathe out, hollow out your tummy as you roll back down to a neutral position. Keep the core held, breathe in to prepare, and then breathe out, ribs and pelvis down into the imprint, tuck the tailbone in and peel it up. Breathe in to stay there, and then breathe out, hollow out your tummy as you roll back down to the neutral position. Keep the core held, head and neck stays in line, shoulders stays relaxed, tummy nice and flat. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, ribs and pelvis down into the imprint, tuck your tailbone in, clench your glutes muscle and peel it up. Breathe in to stay, and then breathe out, hollow out your tummy and roll back down into your neutral position. Keep the core held all the time. Breathe out, ribs and pelvis down into the imprint, tuck the tailbone in, clench your glutes muscle and roll up. Breathe in to stay there, and then breathing out and rolling back down, hollowing out your tummy and back down into the neutral position. Still the back of your head is on the mat, your face lined with the ceiling. Core switched on. Breathe out, ribs and pelvis down into the imprint, tuck your tailbone in, clench your glutes muscle and roll up. Breathe in to stay there, and then breathe out, hollow out your tummy and roll back down to the neutral position. From here, we're going to release out our hips. So again, switch the core off to begin with. Feet lined up with knees and hips, ribs and pelvis lined out, back of the head on the mat. Rock your pelvis into neutral. Breathe in and out and pull up inside for your pelvic floor and flatten your tummy across the front to hold your core nice and firm. Put your hands on your hip bone, breathe in to prepare, and then breathe out, open your leg out to the side and slide it down the mat. And then breathe in, turn your leg in and slide back up. Hold your core. Breathing out, open your leg out to the side and slide it down the mat. And then breathe in, turn your leg in and slide back up. Keep that core held. Keep the tummy flat. Your hands are here to check your pelvis doesn't move. Breathing out, open the leg out and slide down. The other knee stays pointing towards the ceiling. Breathing in, turn the leg in and slide up. Hold your core and back to the neutral position. Check your pelvic floor tabs are still switched on, your tummy all nice and firm. You can feel the muscle working down here. Ribs are still lined with your pelvis. Breathe in to prepare, and then breathe out, open the other leg out to the side and slide it down the mat. And breathe in, turn the leg in and slide back up. Hold onto the core all the time. Breathing out, open your leg out. So think of the ball in the socket in your hip joint. Slide it down the mat. And breathe in, turn the leg in and slide back up. Still working your core muscle in front. Breathe out, open your leg out to the side and slide down the mat. And breathe in, turn your leg in and slide back up. Hold that core all the time. Breathe out, open the leg out to the side and slide it down the mat. And breathe in, turn the leg in and slide back up. And release your core. Rock the pelvis again into that neutral position and feet lined up with knees and hips. Again, the back of the head on the mat or on the little pillow and the ribs lined with the pelvis. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten your tummy, flatten your core, or switch on your talus muscle across the front. Breathing in, bring your two arms up towards the ceiling. Now breathe out, reach your two arms right up towards the ceiling, and breathe in, bring them back to neutral. Breathe out and reach them as high as they'll go, and breathe in back to neutral. Don't let anything else move. Keep the back of the head on the mat. Breathe out and reach towards the ceiling. Breathe in back to neutral. Breathe out and reach towards the ceiling, and breathing in back to neutral. Now, don't let your ribs rise. This time you're going to try and meet your shoulder blades behind your back. So breathe out, bring your two shoulder blades to try and meet them in behind your back, and breathe in back to neutral. Breathe out and meet your shoulder blades behind your back. Breathe in back to neutral. Hold your core. Breathe out and meet them shoulder blades behind your back, and breathe in back to neutral. Don't let these ribs poke out. Keep the core switched on. And breathe out, shoulder blades in towards each other at the back. And breathe in back to neutral. Then keep the core switched on, lower your hands down by your side. Make sure your face is still parallel to the ceiling, ribs lined with pelvis. And your shoulders are relaxed. Breathe in through your nose. And as you breathe out, slide your shoulders along the mat towards your ears. Keep your palms on the floor. And then breathe in, bring them back to the neutral position. Hold the core all the time. Breathe out, slide your shoulders towards your ears, and breathe in back to neutral. Breathe out, slide your shoulders towards your ears, breathe in back to neutral. Hold the core, breathe out, slide your shoulders towards your ears, and breathe in back to neutral. Now keep your core switched on. This time you're going to slide your hands towards your feet, trying to keep the front of your chest wide and your shoulders down on the mat. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, slide your shoulders down so you're stretching your stress muscles up at your neck. And then breathe in, just come back to where you started, don't go any higher. Breathe out, stretch them fingers way down towards your feet. It's only a little small movement. And then breathe in just up a little bit to relax them where you start. Core switched on. Breathe out, stretch your hands way down towards your feet. And breathe in back to neutral. Breathe out, stretch your fingers way down towards your feet. And breathe in back to neutral. And then relax your shoulders in the middle of those four movements. Switch off the core. Rock your pelvis in and out of neutral again, just to get a good position. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. So breathing in, bring your two arms up towards the ceiling. Now don't let your ribs rise up, keep them nice and flat. And breathe out, bring your arms above your head and then circle them to your hips. Core switched on. So breathe in, arms up towards the ceiling. Blow out, bring your arms above your head and circle to the hips. It is really important you don't let the ribs rise here. So breathing in, arms towards the ceiling. Now think about your rib cage here. Blow your ribs down as you bring your arms above your head and circle to your hips. Breathing in, bring your arms up towards the ceiling. Now here with the ribs, blow the ribs down as you bring your arm up and circle to your hips. So breathing in, arms up. Breathe out, blow the ribs down as you bring your arms above your head and circle to your hips. Listen to the breathing. Breathe in, bring the arms up to the ceiling again. We're going to keep them there and we're going to scissor them. So breathing out, open one arm up close to your ear and the other down towards your feet. And breathe in back to the middle. Keep your arms really long, fingers stretched out, elbows straight. And breathe out, stretch one up and the other down. Don't let the ribs rise. And breathe in back to neutral. So blow out, open the arms out really wide and breathe in back to neutral. Breathe out, open the arms really wide and breathe in back to neutral. Keep the core. Keep the chin tucked into the line. Breathe in back to neutral. Spine is still neutral. Breathe in back to middle. Last one each side. Still holding that tummy muscle nice and firm. Don't let it switch off. And breathe in back to middle and lower the arms back down. Rock the pelvis in and out of that neutral position again. Feet lined up with knees and hips, shoulders relaxed back. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten your core across the front. Now we're going to think about lengthening the back of the neck. So breathe in to prepare, then breathe out, lengthen the back of the neck, tuck the chin in towards the neck, and then breathe in, bring your face back parallel to the ceiling. So breathe out, lengthen the back of the neck, tuck your chin towards your neck to get them deep muscles working, and breathe in back parallel to the ceiling. Be careful you don't rise at your ribs here. So breathe out, lengthen the back of the neck, tuck the chin in, and breathe in back to neutral. Face parallel to the ceiling. Breathe out, lengthen the back of the neck, tuck your chin in. You're giving yourself a double chin. You're bringing your chin towards your neck, not towards your chest. And breathe in back to neutral. Breathe out, lengthen the back of the neck, chin in, and breathe in back to neutral. Last one. And then we're relaxing to that position. Now we're going to roll over onto our side and do some spinal rotation. So when you lie over onto your side, you're going to get your little pillow and you're going to roll it into a sausage shape and put them towards the back of the mat so you have somewhere to keep your head in line with your body. You're going to let your ear down in front of the pillow here. You're going to have your shoulders stacked one on top of the other, but you're going to make sure there's a good gap in here. You have to be able to put your whole arm in here between your neck and your shoulder. You don't want to have your shoulder up in at your ear like this. There's no room in there then, okay? So get the shoulder way, way down. And then you don't want to have your shoulder forwards or backwards. You want to have it so that your two hands meet flat on the top of each other like this, okay? So one hip directly on top of the other hip. Then you're going to bend your knees and bring your feet back level with your hips. At this point, you're going to rock your pelvis backwards and forwards, get a nice neutral position, and then breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside with the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Then breathe in, bring your arm up towards the ceiling. Now you're going to lead with your ribs here and roll back, okay? So don't move your pelvis. Breathe out, roll back to open up the front of your chest. Breathe in nice and deeply to stretch out your rib cage there. And then breathe out and roll the whole way back to join your hands. So hold your core muscle nice and tight. Breathing in, bring your arm up. Breathe out and lead with your ribs. Roll it back with your ribs, leave your hips where they are. Breathe in to stay there. And then breathe out and roll the whole way forward. Listen to the breathing. As you bring the arm up. As you roll right back. Breathe in to stay, to stretch your ribs from the inside. And then breathe out, roll back to join your hands. It's a lovely exercise to loosen out your chest. So breathing in, arm up towards the ceiling. Breathe out and lead with your ribs. Don't lead with your arm. Lead with your ribs as you roll back. Try and keep your face more or less in line with your breastbone. Breathe in to stay, stretching out your rib cage. And then breathe out and roll the whole way back. Two more. Breathing in, arm up towards the ceiling. Breathing out, roll right back as far as you can go. Breathe in deeply to stay there. And then breathing out, roll back to join the hands. Now from here, we're going to do our clam exercise, get the glutes working. So pop your hand underneath your ear. You keep the rest of the body lined up as it is and pop your hand onto your hip bone. Rock the pelvis again into neutral to be sure it's in a good position. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Breathe in to prepare, keep your feet joined, and breathe out, open up your top leg. Don't let the pelvis roll back. And breathe in to close. Hold your core inside. Breathing out, open up the top leg. And breathing in to close. So it sounds like. Keep that core switched on across the front. You can use your hand to feel the muscle working. Breathing out to open up the leg. And breathing in to close. And don't let the pelvis roll back. So breathe out, open up the top leg. If the leg won't go very high, don't roll back like this. Tighten your glutes muscle to try and go a little bit further. That's the bum muscle. Get it working. And breathe in to close. So breathing out, open that top leg, really squash it into the corner with that glutes muscle. And breathe in to close. Hold that core in across the front all the time. and breathing out, open up the top leg, breathe in to close. Make sure the shoulder isn't up at your ear, keep it down nice and relaxed. Breathing out, open up the top leg, breathing in to close. One more, breath out, opening up the top leg, and breathing in to close. And from there, we're going to sit up and do our side bend. So in our side sitting position, we're going to have our hand directly underneath our shoulder. It's going to be lined up with your hips and with your feet. So the feet, hips and hand are all in a straight line. Then you take your top leg and pop your heel in front of your ankle and pop your top hand out across your knee like this. So this knee is pointing to the ceiling and the palm facing up. Then rock your pelvis backwards and forwards, get a nice neutral position in your spine. Breathe in and out and pull up inside for the pelvic floor and then tighten your core across the front. Breathe in to prepare and then push down onto your knee. Breathe out, push up and over. Breathe in to stay and then breathe out to lower back down. So you get a nice stretch on your spine. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, put the pressure on your front knee, push up and over. Breathe in to stay and then breathe out to lower back down. Hold your core muscle all the time. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, push onto your front knee and push up, stretch up and over. Breathe in to stay and breathe out to lower. Keep that top knee pointing out all the time. Breathing out, push onto bottom leg and push up and over. Use your glutes on the bottom side to push up high. And then breathing out to lower. Last two, breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, push up and over. Breathe in to stay and breathe out to lower. Hold your core. And breathe out, push up and over. Breathe in to stay. And breathe out to lower. Well done. So, on your tummy on the mat, you can just rest your forehead down on the tip of the mat. Demonstrate it first. You're going to lift your head, your shoulders, your neck and your elbows, the whole lot, all up at the same time. You'll breathe in to stay, and then you'll breathe out to lower back down. Okay, so lying, legs out straight, forehead down on your hands, elbows out straight, and we're going to do our breaststroke prep 3. So rock the pelvis into the neutral position. Remember, we're getting your belly button up off the floor. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside to tighten the core. Breathe in to prepare, and then breathe out, raise up your arms and head. Breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower. Hold your core, keep your belly button off the floor. Breathing out, raise up. Breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower. Don't let the belly button drop. Breathing out, raise up. Breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower. Hold the core. Don't let the feet rise. So you're working the muscles in your upper thoracic area. 3 more, hold the core. Make sure the head and line stay in line with the body. So if you think about that, that's the way you always want to raise your head off the floor. Last one. And lower back down. Now we're going to push up into our kneeling position. We're going to do a modified shell stretch. So sitting down onto your heels, keep your low back arched and your upper back arched. Don't make it all rounded, keep it nice and straight. And then you're going to stay down in that position. You're going to walk your hands around to one side, stretching out from underneath your armpit all the way down your side towards your hip. Take 2 to 3 deep breaths in this position. Keeping your head and neck in line. And again. Walk your hands back to the center. Your spine is still in neutral. You haven't arched in either direction. Then walk around to the other side with your hands. Keeping your head and neck in line with your body, and give it a good stretch. A couple of deep breaths in. Really stretching out from underneath your arm all the way down your side to your hip. And walk around to the middle. And come up to sit. Now we're going to pop over onto the other side and do the same set of exercises on the other side. So you're going to get into your side lying position with your little sausage pillow at the back of the mat, so you somewhat roll your head. Get your ear directly at the front of the pillow. Your shoulders are stacked, hips stacked one on top of the other, and your feet are back in line with your hips. Hands are out. Remember, palms have to touch facing so that your shoulders are in the right position, and a good gap in here. I like to say there's room for a cat to come in here and a mouse to come in underneath your waist, and your spine is in a good neutral position. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for your pelvic floor, flatten that tummy across the front. Then breathing in, bring your arm up towards the ceiling. Then lead with your ribs. Breathe out, roll back, leaving your pelvis where it is. Breathe in to stay and stretch out your rib cage. And then breathing out to roll the whole way back. Keep the core held. Breathing in, bring the arm up. Breathing out, roll it back. Breathe in to stay. And then breathing out, roll the whole way forwards. Hold the core. Breathing in, bring the arm up towards the ceiling. Lead with the ribs. Breathing out, roll the rib cage back. Breathe in to stay. And breathe out, roll the whole way back. Then breathing in, bring the arm up. Now don't lead with your arm. Don't be bringing the arm back first. Lead with your ribs as you roll back. Breathe in to stay. And breathing out to come forwards and join the hands. Hold the core all the time through the whole movement. Breathing in, arm up. Lead with your ribs, roll back. Breathe in to stay. And then breathing out, roll the whole way forward. Keep the core held. Breathing in, bring your arm up. Breathing out, roll right back. Breathe in to stay, a big deep breath in to stretch out your ribs as much as you can. And then breathe in to roll back. Last one. And then we're going to move on to our clam. So release your core, pop your hand underneath the little front of the pillow, rock the pelvis again to get into a good neutral position. You still got the little gap at your waist and you still got the gap underneath your neck. Then hand on the hip bone, breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core. Breathe in to prepare, then feel the muscle working in there, and then breathing out, open up your top leg, breathe in to close. Don't roll back at the pelvis. Breathing out, open up the top leg, and breathing in to close. Listen to the breathing. When you breathe deeply and heavily, it really helps you to recruit the core muscle. That's why we make you do the deep breaths and make pursed lips. It really helps the core muscle to work. So breathing out, open up the top leg, and breathing in to close. Keep that ribs and pelvis lined up. Don't let it poke out in front. Breathing out, open. Breathing in, close. Remember to keep the shoulder down from your ear. Breathing out, open. Breathing in to close. Last one. Breathing out, open. Breathing in to close. Well done. Okay, we're going to push up into our side sitting. And we're going to do our side bend. So again, hand lined up with hip and the feet. Now I meant to say, if your hand is a little bit sore when you're doing this, you can use a little pillow in this position, so you won't be so far bent like this. You'll be a little bit more extended at your wrist, and it'll be easier to do. Alternatively, you can give one of the little hand grips if you need that. Okay, so you're going to have the hand, the hip, and the feet lined up. Pop the second leg in front. The heel is in the crook of your ankle. Your top leg is pointing out and your hand is facing the ceiling on top of it. Rock your pelvis again backwards and forwards to try and get that spine into a nice neutral position with your ribs lined with your pelvis. Breathe in through your nose, and then as you breathe out, pull up inside and flatten the tummy across the front. Your weight's going to go onto your knee and your hand, so breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, push down onto your knee, push up and over. Breathe in to stay. And then breathe out to lower back down. Listen to the breathing, breathe in to prepare, and then off you go. Use your breathing. Breathing out, push up and over. Breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower. Hold on to the core all the time. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, push up and over. Breathe in to stay, really stretching your ribs, and breathe out to lower. Hold your core all the time. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, push up and over. Use the glutes on the bottom side to raise you high. Breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower. Last one like that. Breathing out, push up and over. Breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower. Well done. Now we're going to go over onto our hands and knees. So we're going to start with our cat curls. So onto your hands and knees position, hands under shoulders, knees under hips, shoulder and hip width apart. You're going to rock your spine till you get into what we call a neutral position, where your rib cage is lined with your pelvis, so it's all in a nice line. Your face is parallel to the floor, so breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside of your pelvic floor and flatten your tummy across the front, trying to get your belly button towards your spine. Breathe in to prepare, and then breathe out. You're going to let your tailbone out and hollow down your low back, then hollow down with your waist, hollow down your low ribs, middle ribs, in between your shoulders. Then you're going to bring your head and neck into line and look out in front. Breathe in to stay, and then you're going to push very slightly above the neutral position. So breathing out, tuck your tailbone in and push your waist a little bit up towards the ceiling. Then your low back up a little bit, your middle ribs up a little bit, your upper ribs up a little bit, and tuck your chin in towards your neck and lower your head so your head comes out and look at your knees. Breathe in to stay, and then breathe out, let your tailbone out and let your waist down, your low ribs down, your middle ribs down, down between your shoulder blades. Bring your head and neck into line and your face comes up to look out in front. Breathe in to stay. Then breathe out, tuck your tailbone in and raise your waist a little bit up, your low ribs a little bit up, your middle ribs a little bit up between the shoulders. Tuck your chin towards your neck and your face comes down to look at your knees. Breathe in to stay. Keep the core held. Breathing out, allow your tailbone to tuck out behind you. Then hollow your tummy down so your waist comes down towards the floor. Core stays switched on. Low ribs come down. Middle ribs come down. Down between your shoulders. Your head is still down. Then bring your head and neck into line with your body and look out in front. Breathe in to stay. Keep the core held. Then breathe out, tuck your tailbone in and push your waist up a little bit. Your low ribs up a bit. Your middle ribs up a bit. Up between the shoulders just a little bit. Up at the neck. Tuck your chin towards your neck and lengthen your back of your neck and bring your head down to look at your knees. Breathing in to stay. And then breathing out, tailbone out and waist down towards the floor. Low ribs down. Middle ribs down. Down between your shoulders. Bring your chin and your head and neck into line and look out in front. Breathe in to stay and then bring yourself back to the midline. And from here, we're going to do our leg pull front. If you find that your hands are getting a little bit sore with having the weight on them in that position again, use your little towel to offload your hands. So this time you're going to tuck your toes in underneath. You're going to rock your spine into neutral again. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside from the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Breathe in to prepare, and now you have to push really hard into your toes here so that you do not arch your back. Breathing out, push into your toes and lift your knees just 1 inch off the floor. Breathe in to stay there, and then breathe out to lower back down. Now hold on to your core muscles. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, push your hip, push down into your toes and lift your knees 1 inch off the floor. Keep your tummy flat. Breathe in to stay and breathe out to lower. If you just look at the screen, just make sure that you're not doing that when you lift up. Make sure that your spine is staying neutral. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, push down through your toes, push into your toes and lift your knees 1 inch. Breathe in to hold that there and then breathe out to lower. Now remember, you don't push up really high into the sky, just a little bit. Keep your shoulders down in line. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, push into your toes and lift your knees 1 inch off the floor. Breathe in to stay there and then breathe out to lower back down. 2 more. Hold the core. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, push down into your toes and lift your knees. Keep your spine in line and your head and neck in line. Breathe in to stay and breathe out to lower. Last one. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, stretch down into your toes and lift up. Breathe in to stay and breathe out to lower. And then rock your pelvis in out of the neutral position with your core switched off. Okay, from here we're going to lie down onto our tummy. So now we're going to go ahead and do our swimming exercise. So I'm going to teach you first of all, and to start off with, again, the swimming, the whole purpose of this exercise is to try and keep your spine in a neutral position. So you're trying not to have your belly drop down off the floor. You're trying to tuck your bum in and trying to get your belly button up off the floor, or at least light on the floor. So start by bringing your 2 arms out above your head, legs are out straight, rock your belly button up off the floor, breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Breathing in to prepare, and I breathe out, raise up one arm and the opposite leg, and breathe in to lower. Breathe out, raise the second arm and leg, and breathe in to lower. Hold the core. Breathe out, arm and leg. Keep the core switched on. Keep belly button tucked in. Breathe out, raise one arm and the opposite leg. Breathing in to lower. You feel your glutes working. Breathe out, raise an arm and leg. Breathing in to lower. Feel the glutes really kicking in as you lift. Hold the core, belly button off the floor. Try and make your belly button as light on the floor as you can. One more each side. And lower back down. So now we're going to do our heel squeeze prone and our single leg kick, okay? So start off with your hands by your ears. You can keep your forehead on the mat, and you're going to bring your 2 legs right and wide, get the knees way out towards the edge of the mat. Feet are on the floor. Rock your belly button up to recruit your core, to get your spine into line, and then breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside and tighten the pelvic floor and the tabs muscle. Breathing in, bend up your 2 knees, and then breathe out, bring your heels together and squeeze really tight and feel glutes working. And breathe in, don't separate the heels but release the glutes. Core switched on. Breathe out, squeeze the heels together. And breathe in, release the glutes but keep the heels together. Breathe out, squeeze the heels together. Core's working really hard. And breathe in, release, the core stays working. Breathe out, squeeze the heels, don't let go of the core. And breathe in, release the heels. So breathing out, squeeze, work the glutes really hard. And breathe in, release the glutes, keep the core switched on. Core working. Squeeze the glutes together. And breathing in, release the glutes. Keep the core working hard. If you're feeling it in your hamstring, you shouldn't be, so pull the heels towards the bum more. Squeeze the glutes. And breathe in to release. Hold the core. Really working. 2 more. Squeeze the glutes in and release and squeeze and release. Now let the legs down straight, and we're going to bring our legs into the middle of the mat. Going to line ourselves up again. Hands can relax by the ears again. Forehead stays on the mat. Rock your belly button up off the floor, and we're going to do our single leg kick. So breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for your pelvic floor and tabs. Breathing in to prepare, and then breathing out, bend the knee up with the toe pointed, up with the toe flat, and breathing into lower. Breathe out, up point, up flat, breathe into lower. Hold the core. And lower. Keep the core switched on. Breathe out 1 and 2 and breathing into lower. Feel it in your hamstring. Really pull it in till you feel that hamstring switching on. The hamstring's in the back of your thigh. If you can't feel it, remember your quads might be too tight, so you may need to do more quad stretching or more quads foam rolling in between classes to get that loosened out. And you may feel a hamstring cramp. If you do, just stretch out the leg a little bit and then join us again. Keep the core switched on, belly button off the floor. Really tightening that tummy. Keep the pelvic floor switched on that bit as well. 1 more each side. And then last one. And lower back down. Well done. So we're going to try our swan dive prep. So hands are by the ears, your legs are out straight. Rock your pelvis into a neutral position. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core. Breathing in to get ready, and then breathing out, push up. Breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower. Hold your core. Breathe in to get ready. Breathing out, push up, keep your spine in a neutral position. Breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower. Core switched on. Don't let go of the core at all. Keep the spine neutral. Trying to let that pelvis just drag after you. 2 more, core switched on. And lower back down onto the mat. Well done. So from here now, we're going to roll ourselves over onto our back. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a small rotation of the body. We're going to keep it within safe limits. So in neutral, breathe in and out, pull up inside for a pelvic floor and tighten our core across the front. We're just going to do the obliques now. Breathe in to prepare and put your hands behind your head. Breathing out, bring your left knee to your right elbow, tucking your chin in as you come up a little bit. And breathing in to come back to the middle. Breathe out, going across to the other side, really twisting. Breathing in to come back to the middle. Hold the core. Breathing out, twist to the side. Breathing in to come back to the middle. Keep the core held. Breathe out, twist over. Breathe in to come back. Think about bringing your right rib cage towards your left pelvis. Breathing in to come back. Hold the core. Blow out as you twist up. Breathing in to come back. Breathing in to come back. Breathing in to come back. Last one. Breathing in to come back. Breathing in to come back. And lower the head and shoulders. So feet lined up with knees and hips, shoulders relaxed, back of the head on the mat. Rock the pelvis into neutral, breathe in and out and pull up inside the pelvic floor. Tighten the core across the front to really try and flatten in your tummy, keeping your ribs in line with your pelvis. Breathe in to hold that, and now breathe out, bring yourself down into the imprinted position, so down deep into imprint. Breathe in, first leg up to tabletop. If you can do it without holding on, keep it there. If not, breathe out, bring your second leg up to tabletop. Breathe in to hold that there. Now breathing out, you've got to keep your imprint. Breathe out, stretch out one leg down towards the floor. Breathing in to bring it back to tabletop. Breathe out, stretch out the second leg towards the floor. Breathe in, bring it back to tabletop. Breathe out, stretch out towards the floor. Breathing in to bring it back to tabletop. Hold the core. Breathe out, stretch out. Breathing in to come back. And really keep those ribs down in line, down into your imprinted position. Hold the core all the time. Keep a really deep imprint. Really don't let that pelvis move at all. Don't let your back arch. Keep the core switched on. Breathing out to stretch out your leg. Breathing in to bring it back to tabletop. Breathe out, stretch out the second leg. Breathe in, bring it back to tabletop. Think about the upper body up just underneath your ribs. You should be working really hard to try and fix your ribs down. Don't let them arch up. Hold the core all the time. Bring them back to the middle. Breathing out, lower one leg down, toe, heel, and the second leg down, toe, heel. Relax the core and relax your spine into a neutral position. Release the core. Now we're going to do a little obliques exercise in our tabletop position. We need to be careful that we don't strain our upper back and neck, so you're going to support your head as you do it, and you're going to not come too high with your upper body. So if you watch me doing it first of all, so we're going to have ourselves in this position, and then most of our movement is going to be a rotation rather than coming up. So I don't want you coming way up and across. We're just doing more of a rotation of the upper body, just trying to get a little bit of extra work just underneath the rib cage. So in our crook line position, we're doing our obliques, feet lined up, knees and hips, shoulders relaxed back, back of the head on the mat. Rock your pelvis into neutral, Breathe in and out and pull up inside for the pelvic floor, tighten the core across the front. Breathe in to prepare, and then breathe out, bring the ribs and pelvis down into your imprinted position. Breathe in, first leg to tabletop, and breathe out, second leg to tabletop. Breathe in, hands behind your head, and then breathe out, tuck your chin in and roll up just a small little bit. Breathe in to hold that there, and now breathe out, stretch across, bringing your right elbow towards the outside of your left knee, and breathing in to come back. Breathe out, stretch up and across, left elbow to outside of right knee, breathing in to come back. And then breathe out, right up towards the left, stretch out the right leg, breathing in to come back. Keep the imprint. Breathe out, stretch across, right elbow to left knee, breathing in to come back. Keep your body down in the imprint and listen to the breathing. Core switched on really deep. Up and across to the opposite knee, breathing in to come back. Up and across to the opposite knee, breathing in and come back. You should really be feeling it just under your ribs now. Keep that core held. Breathing in to come back. Breathing out, cross it over. Breathing in, come back. You're only lowering the leg as low as you can keep your imprint. So stretch it up and across and back. Stretch it across and back. Think of your ribs coming towards your pelvis. Stretching across and back, across and back. And breathe out and lower down onto the mat. Breathing in, one leg down, toe, heel. Second leg down, toe, heel. And relax onto the mat, releasing your core. Okay, we're going to roll over now and do some leg work. So over onto your side. Now we're going to bring the two legs back into line with your body. Going to make your long straight line, okay? Fingertips to toes, your head is, ears on the pillow. You got your arm in front for support, and now you're going to make that top leg longer than the bottom leg, so you get your little gap in at your waist, always allowing the space for the mouse to crawl in there. You don't have any mouse, but okay. So now we're going to do our single leg lift series, okay? So breathing in to get ready, breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Breathing in, lift the leg up, point it, breathe out, flatten and lower. Breathing in, lift, point and stretch, breathing out to flatten and lower. Make sure you haven't rolled back, make sure you're feeling it in your glutes muscle, not in the front of the hip. Breathing in, point and stretch, breathing out to flatten and lower. Hold the core. You want to be feeling it in the glutes. Okay, breath in as you come up, stretch the leg, and breathing in out to lower. Make the leg really long. Don't drop at the waist. And feel it behind the hip muscle, behind the hip joint. You want to feel it in the glutes. And now we're going to stay up on the next one and breath out for half a circle and in for half. Remember the rules, don't drop at the waist, make the little circle in the front and push into the glutes behind. Keep the core switched on. Don't let the leg go too high, that means you've lost the control at the waist. And change the circle direction. Hold the core. Really work the tummy, keep the ribs and pelvis connected. And lower the leg down. Now, I'm going to add in the next 3 exercises, okay? So rock the pelvis into the neutral position, breathe in and out and pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. So breathing in, bring your leg up with the toe pointed. Breathe out, bring the other leg up to meet it, flatten your 2 feet and lower back down. Breathe in, lift and point and stretch. Breathe out, come up to meet, flatten the feet and lower. Breathing in, lift, point and stretch. Breathing out, meet the feet, flatten them and lower. Hold the core and don't drop at the waist. Make sure you're using the bum muscle and the inner thigh and lower. Hold the core. Now don't drop back at the pelvis. You've got to keep your feet back in line with your body. Don't drop back. If you drop back, you'll be using the front of the hip and we don't want that to happen. Hold the core. Breath in as you come up. Breathe out, meet it.
flatten the feet and lower. Long straight line. Keep the core switched on. Connect with ribs and pelvis at the front. Don't let that gap happen there. Don't arch your back. And last one of those. Now relax the core and then make sure your spine is in line. Push that top leg away again to keep that gap at the waist. Ribs and pelvis lined up. Breathe in through the nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Then breathing in to get ready, and then breathing out, lift the two legs up together. Breathe in, flatten and lower. Hold the core. Keep the core switched on. Last one. And lower back down. Now we're going to add in the side bend one. Okay, so you're going to keep your spine in the neutral position. You're going to pop your hand up over your hip, and now as you come up, you're going to raise the upper body and the legs. So make sure you've got your spine in neutral. Push the top hip away. Breathe in and out and pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Now don't roll back. Breathe in to get ready, and then breathing out, push up and reach the hands down the legs as you lift the legs. Breathe in to stay. And breathe out to lower back down. Keep the core switched on. Breathing out, lift, point and stretch. Breathe in to stay. And breathe out to lower. Keep the core switched on all the time. Tabs working. Make sure you're coming up over the highest point of the hip. You don't want to feel yourself rolling back. Right, so don't do this. Okay, keep yourself right up on the hip and lower. Last two. And again. You're going to use something to pop your front knee up in front like this so that it is supported and your left leg is free. And then we're going to work your inner thigh muscle on the lower leg, okay? Everything lined up nicely, your fist is in front for support, but this leg now is back in line with your body. Rock your pelvis back into neutral, breathe in and out and pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Then breathing in, bring your leg up with the toe pointed, breathe out, flatten and lower. Hold your core. Really working the inner thigh. Keep the tummy switched on. Sorry, breath in. Point your toe and work your calf on the way up. Stretch your calf on the way down. Really work the inner thigh. Feel it working hard. Tighten the core all the time. Keep the connection in the front between the ribs and pelvis. Two more. Now breathing in again and breathe out, pull up inside and tighten the pelvic floor and core muscles again. Then breathing in, bring your lower leg up and then breathe out for half a circle and breath in for half a circle. Hold the core in the front. Breath out for half and in for half. Bringing the leg a little bit forwards and a little bit back. Keep the leg really long. And change the direction. Breath out for half and in for half. Hold the core. Two more. And lower the leg back down. And now we're going to pulse the lower leg, okay? So again, spine in neutral position, breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front, making sure that you have your knee propped on a little support in front. Okay, it could be anything, a ball or a Pilates block or anything, okay? So breathing in to prepare, and then breathe out, go up 1, 2, 3, and breathe into lower. Breath out, 1, 2, 3, breathe into lower. Hold the core. Keep that core switched on in front. Really work on the inner thigh as you pulse it 3 times. Point the toe as you come up, and then stretch the calf as you go down. And lower back down. Well done. Bend the 2 knees, and we will roll over to the other side. So lie down on your side. And now we're going to do some pulses with the lower leg to work the inner thigh. So again, with your knee nicely supported on a little block in front, your fist in front for support, your shoulders are stacked, your hips are stacked, your arm is out. And then rock the pelvis into neutral, breathe in and out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Breathing in to prepare, and then breathe out, pulse up 1, 2, 3, and breathe into lower. So breathing out, point and lift up 1, 2, 3, and breathe into lower. Keep the core switched on. You really should be feeling the inner thigh working there. Tighten the tummy all the time. Keep that core switched on. Come on, hold it tight. 2 more. And bend the 2 knees. And bring the 2 legs back in line with your body. Now from here we're going to do our side leg lift series. So in your neutral, breathe in and out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core. Push the top leg away to make it longer than the bottom leg. Keep the gap at the waist. Everything else nicely lined up. And then breathing in, lift your leg up with the toe pointed. Breathing out to flatten and lower. Make sure you're feeling it behind in the bum, not up at the front. You don't want to feel it here. And breathe in, lift, point and stretch. Breathing out to flatten and lower. Hold the core. Really working the tummy. Keep that connection. Making sure the leg is going really long. Remember, if the leg goes high, you've dropped at the waist. Keep it really long. Lift and point and stretch. Breathing out to flatten and lower. And we're going to stay up on the next one. So breathing in, lift the leg up. Breathing out for half a circle and in for half. Now hold your core. Really working. Keep the core switched on. Keep that connection between the ribs and the pelvis. Don't let the back arch. Feel the bum kicking in as you go behind. Breath out for half a circle. In for half a circle. And now change the direction. But don't let the back move. Out for half and in for half. Really feel the bum kicking in as you go behind. The glutes muscle should really be firing. Keep the core switched on. And lower the leg back down. So check on your pelvic floor and tabs again, make sure they're switched on. Then breathing in, lift your leg up with the toe pointed. Breathing out, lift the second leg up, flatten the 2 and lower back down. Don't drop at the waist. Breathing in, lift, point and stretch. Breathing out, meet, flatten and lower. Hold the core. Remember, if you're going too high, you've dropped at the waist. Keep the core working. Keep the legs long and pointed. Tighten in. Have you still got the little gap at the waist? Make sure the legs aren't drifting forwards. Last one. And lower back down. Release the core. And now again, make sure you're all nicely lined up. Little gap at the waist, leg long. Breathe in and out and pull up inside with the pelvic floor and tighten the core. Now don't roll back. Breathing in to prepare. Breathe out, lift the two legs up. Breathing in, flatten and lower. Keep the core switched on. Keep that ribs connected with the pelvis in the front. So lifting two legs up, point and stretch, breathing in to flatten and lower. Don't roll back at the hips. Make sure you're still feeling it in the glute muscle, that you haven't rolled back. Keep the core switched on. Pelvis and ribs connected. Two more. And back down. And release the core. Now we're going to do the side bend one, so keeping the core nicely switched on in there. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. And then hand up over the hip. Breathe in to prepare, and then breathing out, raise up, reach and stretch. Breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower. Hold the core. Breathe in to prepare. Breathing out, reach up and stretch. Breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower. Keep the core working. Tab switched on all the time. Last two. Make sure you're not rolling back. And bend up the two knees.
And so we're going to get up into standing. And then you're standing. Now we're going to do a few little exercises. We're going to start off with a few little squats. So you're going to stand with your feet directly underneath your hips, your shoulder blades back and down, and your head and neck into line. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside through the pelvic floor and and tighten the core across the front and maintain that nice and firm for all of the exercises. Breathing in, arms out in front, and then we're going to squat down. Try not to bring your toes, your knees too far forward. So breathing out, squat down, breathing in to come back. Making sure your bum is not sticking out too far. Try and keep the upper body upright as much as you can. And back. Breathe out to lower. Breathe in to come back. Breathe out to lower. Breathe in to come back. Last one. And relax. Now we're going to do some arm circles. So up tall, shoulder blades back and down, head, neck and line. Breathe in through the nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside your pelvic floor and tighten your core across the front. Breathing in, arms forward and up onto your toes. Breathe out above your head and circle to your hips. Keep the core held. Breathing in, arms out up onto your toes. Breathing out, come above your head and circle to your hips as you lower. Breathe in, arms out and up onto your toes. Breathe out above your head and circle your hips lower as you come around the circle. Breathing in, arms out, up onto your toes. Breathing out, circle above your head and back to your hips. Keep the core switched on all the time. Breathing in, arms out, up onto your toes. Breathing out, come above your head and circle to your hips as you lower. Breathe in, arms out and up onto your toes. Breathe out above your head and circle your hips lower as you come around the circle. Breathing in, arms out, up onto your toes. Breathing out, circle above your head and back to your hips. Keep the core switched on all the time. Breathing in, arms out and up onto your toes. Breathing out, circle and lower to your heels. So breathing in, arms out and up onto your toes. Breathe out, circle above your head and lower to the hips. Make sure that the ribs don't rise up. Breathing in, arms out. Breathing out above your head and circle to the hips. Relax the core. Now we're going to do a little bit of work on our glutes muscle in standing. So up tall, shoulder blades back and down with your head and neck into line. Making sure that you're keeping yourself well lined up with the head right on top of your body. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside to the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Breathe in to prepare, and then breathing out, bring your leg out to the side and a little bit back. Breathe in to begin. Breathe out, tip it into the back. Breathe into lower. You want to pulse it? So you're trying just to bring your leg back into the corner, not out to the side, not straight back, but a little bit towards the corner. You look at me from the side, you see it's going back a bit, but it's not going too far back. Okay, keep the core held. Breathing out, push back and lower. Try not to lean the way over, try not to lean your body over to the side as you do it. Try and keep as straight as you can. Two more. And lower. Check on the core, make sure it's still switched on. Bring the second leg back behind and pulse it. So it's a little short breath and a little blow out. Hold the core all the time. Lower. Well done. And relax. Now we're going to do a little bit of work on the calves again. Okay, so up tall, shoulders back and down, head and neck in line. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, push up onto your toes. Lower to squat. Back up for the squat. Breathe out to lower. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, push up onto your toes. Breathe in to lower. Breathe out to come up. Breathe in to lower. So breathe out, push up onto your toes. Breathe in to squat. Breathe out to come up. Breathe in to lower. Breathe out, push up onto your toes. Breathe in to squat. Breathe out to come up. Breathe in to lower. Breathe out, push up onto your toes. Breathe in to squat. Breathe out to come up. Breathe in to lower. Breathe out up on your toes. Breathe in to lower. Breathe out to come up and again. Breathe in to lower. Breathe out up on your toes. Breathe in to lower. Breathe out to come up. Breathe in to come back. So we're going to come from standing down into our hip flexor stretch. So up tall, shoulders back and down, head and neck in line. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front, hands on your hip. Breathe in to prepare, then breathing out, go forward, step forwards with your right leg and down onto your left knee. Breathe in to come back. Breathe out, forwards on your left leg and down onto your right knee. Breathe in to come back. Keep your core held. Breathe out, forwards and down. Breathe in to come back. Breathe out, forwards and down. Breathe in to come back. Hold your core. Try and keep your legs in line. Try not to let the knees cross. You want to keep them out in line with your hips. And relax. So we hope you've enjoyed the class. again, if you have any issues, you need to contact a physio, just ring us. The details come in at the end of the video, and we'll hopefully give you any help that you need. Hope to see you in the next class. Bye.